Call the meeting to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Is there any changes to the agenda?
No, I think also, Mr. Acting Mayor, we can skip the virtual meeting protocols. We don't have anybody in the virtual meeting room, so.
Okay, that sounds good.
I do have two changes to the agenda tonight. Related to the consent agenda item 6C, related to the comprehensive plan amendment. Staff has laid out for you a revised resolution with some minor changes following feedback from the city attorney. If you have questions on that now, Renee can quickly answer them. If you'd like to pull it down to general business because of that, we can do that at this time. Otherwise, we would suggest that you leave it on consent.
Anybody want to pull it?
Okay. Minor changes.
Okay.
The other item would be in
Noted.
addition under administrative reports regarding interchange travel analysis.
Okay, so do you like to add that under administration?
Correct.
Okay.
As item 9A II.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
By Josh, second by Kate. All those in favor? Aye. All right, agenda passes. We have a presentation for firefighter Rob Kaufenberg. Who is not here, but I will, I'll read what we have here. Rob Kaufenberg started with the fire department on September 1st, 1993, following in the footsteps of his dad, Mike Kaufenberg. In his 29 years with the department, Rob loved serving his community. Being a part of the family business in town, Home Oil Company, he was a familiar face on most fire and medical calls. Rob completed his first responder and held multiple certificates, including hazmat operations and Skywarn training. Rob also served as the assistant fire chief for many years. Thank you, Rob, for your service to our city and dedication to the fire department. The city of Elko New Market recognizes Rob for his dedicated and valuable service to the citizens of the city and the rest of the fire district. I did want to show this because this thing's really cool. So that's the plaque that Rob will get when we see him next time. He wasn't. On to public comment. Is there anybody here who would wish to speak under public comment? Commissioner?
A couple things. Good evening, everybody. Tom Wolf, Scott County Commissioner. Just a couple things. Well, this morning we had the I-35 Solutions meeting, and I thought it went pretty well. There's a lot of projects that Scott County is looking at getting, you know, mostly along the 169 corridor going 13 into Savage there. So we hopefully will get some of those dollars. And the big thing going on right now is the Renaissance Festival and getting their traffic down to where people can get by and people can park their cars and get in there in a good order. So we have that coming up on the 21st, and other than that, pretty quiet. So, thank
Awesome.
you.
Thanks for coming.
Yep.
Anybody else wish to speak under public comment? Going once, going twice? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Does anybody want to pull anything from consent?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
By Kate, second by Amanda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What's her name?
Consent agenda passes. And then on to general business. First, we have liquor license ordinance and fees.
So this item is one that we would normally place on consent, but there's a little complexity to it and a little background, so I wanted to make sure there's an opportunity for council to ask questions. Council will recall that we had recently amended the liquor license ordinance for the city. That change was to reflect a change in state statute. that was made in order to provide other liquor purchasing and sale opportunities for ball teams primarily. They're seasonal and whatnot. Typically, they've utilized the 3-2 liquor license that's out there in the state. The problem is 3-2 is becoming increasingly unavailable as a product. And so the state made some changes to allow them to access other license options. We made an error with regards to how we did that amendment. The assumption was that a strong malt liquor license could be a standalone license. Linda found out from Minnesota Alcohol Gambling Enforcement, or MNAGE, that that is not possible. It basically sits below the wine license. So tonight, we're looking to do two things. One, we're looking to correct that error in the ordinance. And then two, we're looking to set up a 2-tier pricing structure for wine licenses, one for regular year-round ongoing concerns like wine bar or restaurant, and then we're looking to set a different tier for entities who are looking to, eligible entities who are looking to sell 60 days or less during the year. And the fee structures correspond with entities that have previously gotten licenses.
In our ordinance, does it cover anything about, like if a brewery or winery wanted to
Yes,
open?
that was part of the change that we made previously.
Okay. Any discussion?
When it's less than 60 days, oh, is it like actual days in which they're selling? So
Correct.
not like a 60-day time period?
Correct.
Okay, because I was like, baseball season's longer than 60 days.
Yeah,
Got
I
it,
mean,
thank you.
typical ball team is maybe 35 games over the entire, usually high 20s,
Yeah.
unless they make playoffs. If they have a tournament, it might be more. So this would accommodate that, plus extra events that they might want to provide for, et cetera.
So would this apply to anybody else other than the baseball teams? I mean, would we see anybody else apply for these tier 2 permits for anything like pop-up stuff during events, or not really?
If it's pop-up stuff like during events, typically something like that is going to require like a catering license, which is a whole different thing, and that's actually through the state, not the state. So our licenses are for people who actually have premises at which they're doing it.
Would it be like the church?
There is also the 1 to 4 day temporary permit that they could apply for.
Yep.
Yeah,
So they do that for like the steak fry and things like
Yeah,
that.
correct.
thank you. Okay.
You need a motion, I assume?
Yep, we'd be looking for
separate?
Can we
motion.
do
one?
both of them?
You can adopt them both at the same time if you chose to do so.
Motion to approve ordinance number 267 and 268 as outlined.
Second.
Motion by Josh, second by Amanda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. There are no public hearings tonight, so we'll jump into reports. Administration.
Fourth quarter financial report, there's only one item of note. You might have noticed that as we were going through the year-end numbers, we found out that there was actually a typo in the 2022 budget related to a revenue item within stormwater. So we may be returning to you in the near future to basically do an amendment to the budget to correct that error. So when we're going through audit documents, our spending relative to the number are more in line, consistent with the other utility funds.
So you found $1 million?
No.
Shoot.
But one of our revenues was way overstated due to a typo. So we're going to correct that back to what it should have been.
And we didn't spend the money already?
Yeah. Nope.
That's good.
Otherwise, there wasn't anything super exciting with regards to the fourth quarter financial report. This year as a whole was a rather uneventful, which is good when you're talking budget year. And on a side note, Kelly's currently working with the auditor for our 2022 financial year audit, which will be coming up here, so.
Perfect.
The second item was something we laid out for council, and we apologize for short notice, but it just came up today. As we've discussed multiple times with regards to trying to lobby and work on getting funding for the interchange. One of the things that we are doing is going out and telling our story and presenting information related to the interchange and the need. As we've gone through that, one of the pieces of information that is not out there is related to the travel pattern or the travel shed associated with the interchange. And we think that's a key piece of information if there's telling elements that we can use in our story. But it does require that you have to go out and do the analysis. We've contacted SRF. They are the firm that has worked with the county on their travel stuff and is familiar with Streetlight, which is a county program. The county has strongly indicated that they would prefer that their regular consultant in that area be used for this purpose. And they have provided us with a proposal to complete 4 tasks as part of the study. The first task is a travel pattern analysis, basically how is stuff moving through the interchange and where is it coming from and where is it going to. The second task is to estimate future traffic demand, so that's building upon information that's already out there, but trying to show this is the volume of traffic we expect to be coming through the interchange in the future. The other thing is a traffic congestion and event analysis, and the last item is a truck parking analysis. One of the things that has come up in our discussion specifically with Niagara is that there's trucks that are parking on the on and off ramps when the assumption is that when they're hitting their hours. So as part of this analysis and using the Streetlight software, they would be able to see if there's trucks that are parking on the ramp for more than 30 minutes,
So
essentially.
does this like take data that's already been collected and provide it? So like if we wanted to look at, let's say congestion at, like Traders Market, we know what days those occur.
Yes, actually,
Just tracks people's cell phones.
it does. So what it is there are the people who collect all the location data from your cell phone. They compile it, and so they can access those general databases to look at travelers who are going from point A to point B, how long where there are congestion points. They can just all of that data, and they can sort it based on trucks versus cars to a large degree. It's actually really neat, but the software is extremely expensive. It's good for us that the county is graciously letting the consultant who works with them regularly utilize their license to be able to access that kind of data. But there is the potential that if we have congestion issues surrounded, for example, like Traders Market, you can define the windows where you're looking to collect the data. Now the question is there sufficient information in that window to provide meaningful analysis? But the potential is there.
That's cool.
So the total cost for all 4 tasks, and we can be à la carte if we choose, it's just that if you want to do task 2, you have to do task 1 first, is $10,500. Given this type of work and the scope of work, that's a reasonable dollar amount associated with it. I would note that we also contacted BMI to put forward a proposal, but part of the decision to go with this was based on the strong read we received from the county that they would prefer using this consultant. The other advantage is that this consultant also happens to be the consultant for the I-35 Solutions Alliance. So there is a fringe benefit as well.
I appreciate that. It's just, I just don't like the county telling us what we have to do. He's still sitting back there.
He's still back there.
I mean, it just feels like it's out of the ordinary where we would typically do an RF, or like go out for requests and stuff like that.
A
So
lot of consultants that have access to a license.
So, for example,
We'd have to buy it.
doesn't,
Yeah,
They would-
Bolton proposed on it.
How much is a license like that for?
It's gotta be a
Got it.
gob, because we don't have it.
So it's astronomical, probably.
Yeah, we approached MinDOT to see if we could, access through their license, and they said no, unless it's specifically for a MinDOT project. They offered to do it for you,
Did you
but,
say it was a MinDOT project?
Yeah, it kinda is. Can we put a technical,
no,
like,
we don't.
asterisk on it?
We don't play games like that. It was denied, so.
Get Andrea to.
So we had no access to a license to do it.
Okay.
I think it's, needs
Thoughts?
to be done.
And I think we should do all 4.
Yes, absolutely.
Same.
and there's nothing we could offload from the city to assign to other various projects that this might be tied to at all to save us some cash? Like, we're doing it because, we're doing it for a variety of reasons, but we're also doing it to look at, projects and proposals going over there, so would it be reasonable that, to tie it to anything like that?
One, I would push back on that a little bit, that this is related to the overall change of the interchange, which is primarily being driven by background traffic, not any specific project. But I think the other part is there isn't a strong nexus for us to be able to justify pushing it to the project,
That's
to
fine.
a
I just wanted
specific
to ask.
project.
Yeah,
Anybody else have anything? Okay, what do you, what,
How long does it take? Sorry. I didn't read it.
We told them that we had a we needed it for the meeting on the 9th,
Okay, so we'll have
and
it by then.
in the proposal, they're saying that they'll be able to present draft information to us a week before. And the nice part about it is they're familiar with the organization, they're familiar with, they know that we're gonna be basically giving a PowerPoint presentation. So the deliverable will basically be PowerPoint presentation related to this stuff.
will will this be something that you guys will present on? They won't be coming and
Correct.
having a presentation?
I don't think they'll be doing the presentation, but
Okay.
there's a possibility that we could ask an engineer to.
We could ask them to attend, but they aren't, it's not included in the current proposal, so it'd probably be an hourly rate for them to attend the meeting.
You know what, I guess the only reason why I ask is because if this is a company that, or a consultant that I-35 is used,
The weight of having
the
a
weight of
familiar
having
face.
them come and present that information may be beneficial.
I'll talk to Paul and see if he can make the meeting and just be there to answer questions related to the
15 times
analysis.
the study done by SRF and, sponsored, or whatever, yeah.
Yep,
And then we'll have access to all this for future telling the story and lobbying and everything else we'll need it for.
yep, the deliverables are basically the slides with the graphic presentation of the results of the study, and then there'll be like an executive written up, like executive summary that will come with it. So what we would do is we would take this and then we would package our additional stuff around it for the full presentation.
All right, what do you need from us?
Basically, we're planning to move forward with it unless you guys tell us no.
Everybody good?
Go for it.
Okay, there you go. Anything else under administration?
No.
Public Works, anything additional from what was in the packet?
One item, we are looking at changing the regular work hours or doing a pilot test on changing regular work hours for the department. Currently, our department works from 7:30 until 4, and that is unusual for Public Works. Most Public Works departments work from 6:30 until 3 or 7 o'clock until 3:30 because of the ability to do work before there's traffic and people in parks and in the summertime weather and the ability to plow before there's a lot of traffic out there and a variety of reasons. And we've been shifted later over the years, in part because of the nature of calls and things that would come up later in the day and the ability to access the department. That's not true anymore. And there's been a desire within the department to maybe start earlier for operational reasons. And so we're going to do a test run. So for the time being, the department's actually going to be going from 6:30 to 3. And if it works out well, we'll do that. If they need to adjust it a little bit more, they will as well, but they're currently doing that. So just so the council's aware.
I was very happy to see the, that software has been useful. I saw in the note in there about January's snow events, that's pretty insane.
Yep.
602 hours of snow.
I mean, if you think of
Nice
that, that's
control.
equivalent to 4 people working for full-time doing nothing but pulling
Nothing
snow
but
for a
plowing.
month.
That's unbelievable. All right. Anything additional for police department since the chief's not here?
The chief's not here.
Okay, moving on.
Any update with
Engineering.
the officer, besides what was in there? I don't know when this report was written with.
With regards to the hiring process, I should give you a quick update on that. Brady would. So we have one current candidate that's in the background process right now. We are continuing to interview candidates. We actually have 2 interviews scheduled for next week. Currently, Bryce is graciously continuing to volunteer his time for a second round interview if they make it that far. We are scheduling kind of as a catch-as-catch-can type of approach, where we'll it'll be the same format. We'll just schedule one-off interviews with individual candidates as they come through.
Engineering,
No report.
fantastic. Community development,
I had reports on the priorities and goals adopted by the planning commission at their last meeting, accomplishments from their last year, draft minutes for the planning commission EDA for your review. One thing, I'm just gonna put a shout out, I'm on a I-35 corridor committee. They have, MnDOT has just released a survey, trying to collect survey information from residents that use the corridor. So I asked Tom if he'd put the survey on our website, and you might want to share it. So there is an open-ended question at the end of the survey, if people have anything else to add.
Perfect.
And if people wanted to add that, it should maybe include that there's a need for improvement at the
Further south.
further south at a certain interchange. Why, that might help get some greater visibility on the project, because it wasn't included within the scope of that study, so. Okay.
okay.
Quick question on the bullet point of reviewing the 2040 comp plan. What, any specific details to that? Or
Yeah,
what
the
they-
details are that some of the commissioners that we have on weren't here during the comp plan process, so maybe just take a chapter now and then, review what a transportation plan is for the newer commissioners, or what a park plan is, land use plan, those sorts of things. But we have we have 2 vacancies, and so we won't start doing those refreshers until after April, when we appoint a new.
Yep, and we'll have for sure one new face on the commission, so,
On planning,
on both planning and parks.
okay.
Yeah, planning, Tara is not reapplying.
Have there been any applications yet?
I would have to ask Linda, she's our intake person.
There's one application in for the planning commission.
And based on a conversation I had with a resident today, I expect another one to come in shortly.
And that's when we have 2, and we have 1 parks, or is it 1 planning, 2 parks?
So we have two park positions which are up
Yeah.
due to the normal rotation. Both commissioners have
Oh,
sought
for the
reappointment.
reappointment, yeah.
But Commissioner Dornsife has resigned. She has 1 year left on her term just due to conflicts with meeting times.
So there's 3, right?
There's 3 and 1
Technically
for sure
three,
new
okay.
face, yep. And then on planning, 2 seats are up due to normal rotation. One of the commissioners has decided to seek reappointment, one is not.
And we also have at least 3 or 4 applications in for the planning, the planner 1 position. Advertised.
Oh, that's good.
That's very good.
This is tomorrow.
The pool is very, kind of what we expected. It's people that are fresh out of school that are looking for that first job.
Who just graduated in December.
Let's find another Haley.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay.
Unless you have anything for planning?
Nope.
I was gonna mention, did you just send an email about another update? Can we share that update? You wanna share it?
You go ahead.
Well, Renee had sent an email out that Quick Trip, will probably start seeing some activity early April with a planned opening of August 31st.
Yes.
So that's pretty exciting.
Wow.
Parks, anything additional for parks?
No, and unfortunately, we didn't have a quorum last night, so we had to cancel our meeting at the last minute. We were gonna be down to 3 because of Emily's resignation, and one of the commissioners was out of town on business, and then we had another commissioner that had an emergency situation come up. So we ended up canceling the meeting. Next month will basically be last night's agenda, which is gonna be continued discussion related to how do we fund future park facilities.
Okay. CCEC,
Nothing in addition to what's already there.
okay. Let's see, scale,
Tomorrow, isn't it?
is that tomorrow?
Yeah, I believe it's tomorrow.
Okay, what about executive committee?
Forgive me, I'm trying to remember what the primary discussion items were. I had to attend that one remotely. I believe that most of the agenda was a presentation that I had received at or the executive committee was a presentation of what had been presented at the service delivery committee earlier in the month, which was the results of a study on how the water organizations that govern surface water, basically how they could try and operate more efficiently. A few years back, there's this discussion, we've talked with the council, that there are a number of organizations that you have to work with on surface water. There is multiple watershed organizations within communities, but you have water management organizations, you have Bowser, you have Army Corps of Engineers, you have all these different organizations. And this study was taking a look at those organizations which are more at the local level, like the water management organizations and so on, and the various watersheds and soil and water, which are all based within the county, but separate entities, and seeing if and how they could work together. Was there potential to possibly merge them together? I think that was the initial thought. The ultimate conclusion was that there really isn't any efficiencies gained to be putting them together or whatnot, but there is some discussion about trying to explore the idea of a one-stop shop with regards to where you have to go for permitting and stuff like that, as opposed to going here and here and here. So those will be further discussions. They also wanted to put together what they called the Water Work Group. It did exist a number of years ago, but there wasn't enough activity for it to stand alone. They're thinking this is a good task to start digging through these items going forward. We would we would participate, but I think on a as time permits basis, because the organizations that are actually going to be involved with it primarily don't affect us. We're in 3 different watersheds. We're in the Sand Creek watershed, which affects a portion of the community this way, but we're primarily within the Vermilion watershed, and we have a portion of the community that's in the Cannon Valley. Those 2 watersheds aren't part of this discussion. So while we'll participate to a limited degree, based on bandwidth, I don't know that we'd be as active as, let's say, those larger communities that have full-time water people working within their organization. They can devote more time and resources to it, and they're more impacted by the discussions.
I was gonna say, Tom, I don't see that really being much of a problem here. Those watersheds have delegated the review responsibility to us if our roles are equal. The only thing would be watersheds. They serve on the TEP, but that wouldn't probably change. We need people for that, so.
Okay. Let's see, you kind of covered service delivery too with that, right?
Yep.
I-35 Solutions, I had copies given to you all about the legislative report that was given at the Solutions meeting, so you can review that fun stuff. He basically just talked about how crazy this legislative session has been and how many bills they've been pushing.
They ran out of ink and toner and paper the other day.
Yeah, they're moving. It's pretty crazy, I guess, so, some good information in there. And then we are set for March 9th for the meeting, for, the presentation to the Alliance on the Interchange. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else that came out of there that was of note. Just that the Senate Transportation Chair, Senator Dibble, came and kind of talked about the marquee bills that have been passed so far, and that transportation's kind of getting the bottom end of the pot, so to speak, for funds. March 1st is Transportation Day at the Capitol, so he just said he encourages many people as possible to go attend that, to make sure everybody knows that transportation's a high priority for people.
I was thinking I cut you off.
Go ahead.
Do we have any update on Cosnick or Duckworth's bills with transportation or the interchange study or whatever?
No, we haven't heard anything since their initial intent to submit, so.
Senator Dibble was asking the room quite a bit for feedback on dollars as it relates to the surplus. It kind of sounds like there's even bigger surplus than what they thought. And so I don't know if we want to, as a city, put some type of letter together to him regarding the interchange. I don't.
Just if you've got extra money, a good
Yeah.
place to put it is transportation.
Pretty much, yeah, just something along those lines. There was a lot of talk too about, what's the funding for streets, over 5,000 population, what's the acronym?
Municipal State Aid, MSA.
Yeah, MSA. So he was talking about a lot about MSA and really, some of their focuses in transportation were to try and get smaller communities involved and rural communities involved with the transportation funding. So it sounds like they're, you know, they're trying to get some more funds, you know, pushed out that way. So I think anything that we can do to put our name more on the map, I think is probably a good thing to at least send something. But I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah. I'm up there 2 to 3 days a week, so if there's anything I can drop by, I walk by his office all the time, I just never have a reason to talk to him, he's not on any of the committees I care about.
So if the council so directs, we can draft something, kind of a higher level support for transportation and transportation programs. And does council confident with us just drafting it and getting a signature? Or should we run it by somebody for, okay.
No, I think the sooner we get it done, the better. It sounds like everything's moving at pretty fast pace.
And who's our target audience for this? Obviously, we'll send it we'll send it to our legislators, but they don't need to be convinced. They're already on
Right.
board. Who else should we be sending it to Dibble, and then,
I'll have to look through my update. We might have at least one more that we might want to send it to and copying our representatives in there.
Set it to the whole transportation committee.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at right now, so you got Port and Burnsville, I mean, you got the whole Transportation Senate Committee here.
I can send you.
Senate and,
the
do we send it, want to
And
send
then
it
to the
Senate and
House,
House?
yeah, I mean, I for sure do the
Yeah.
House too.
link.
Okay,
And then when you get it done, just shoot out an update, and then I can stop by and reinforce and make sure he got it, or the LA got it, or whatever.
perfect.
Are you gonna be testifying? Am I gonna see you out there?
I just felt, and you know, if DHS would just get their crap together, I wouldn't have to.
And that was it for I-35. I didn't have anything else. Any discussion by council?
I got a couple questions, and I should have asked during CCEC. So has there been any more discussion about fire rescue days or fire relief and reducing anything, fixing anything, doing anything different, or?
Not as of yet.
Okay.
Not as of yet. We haven't gotten a final word from them. Tom attended the relief meeting and discussion has put out there.
They said they were gonna have a meeting.
They're having a meeting in the immediate future to basically make a decision about their participation for this coming year as far as the block dance goes.
And then just a quick thing, so the new Prague Climate Task Force, that's a school thing that we've been doing for the last however many months that wrapped up our last meeting. I would like to have either Superintendent Dittburner or Assistant Superintendent Boothie come and give a presentation on some of the work, because now we're trying to, how do we take it from there? It doesn't just stop with the work of that group, it's how do we bring it out to the communities and get, you know, local nonprofit, churches, city councils, county folks involved. So I don't know if it makes more sense for you guys to reach out to them to coordinate, because I don't know what's gonna be on future agendas, or if I should coordinate and.
So if the council wants them to come, I can either call Tim or Tim can call me to schedule.
Okay.
It's just a matter of putting them
I'll
on our
just shoot an
agenda.
email then, I wanted to make sure it was cool and.
Yep.
All right,
Absolutely.
good stuff. And we're gonna be or not we, I'll be there, but, they'll be presenting it to the school board on like the 28th or 27th. Just kind of some of the work, and we'll see if there's any discussion with some of those board members. And then any update on the Niagara stuff, any word from DNR, anything of note?
We're still in a holding pattern, waiting their determination on whether or not there is a need for any additional environmental review.
And that date is, do we know, official date?
27th.
27th? That's all I got.
Do you have something?
I just want to correct the date that the planner position, it's next Friday, not
Oh, that it
tomorrow.
closes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, misspoke.
Next Friday.
Thanks, Amanda.
Perfect. All right, if nobody has anything else, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Kate and Amanda, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.